Hey everybody, I'm just going to do a quick version of my first video, which was 14 minutes long, and nobody should be subjected or inflicted with that long of a video. You don't got time for that. So to get to the meat, or if you're vegan, the tofurkey, there's a guy named Sid Roth. He is a super old televangelist, and honestly I've never heard of him before a few days ago, but you can tell he's been doing this for decades, and he has this revolving door of these people who claim to be prophetic. Maybe they've come back from heaven with unique insight, or maybe they're predicting the future. It doesn't matter. It could be anything. It's nothing can be corroborated, of course, but he's super into it. He's a good host, but I consider this very ripe territory for discernment, because I just don't think that this is, even if God could do the miracles, but you might ask yourself, why would he? Why would he do the things that these people are claiming? And why do they always give their website at the end and ask you to buy their course? You have to kind of look at the fruit of these people. And speaking of fruit, it kind of reminds me of the story in Genesis of the serpent, the glowing, shiny creature, as it's described. And the serpent is a chameleon. It takes on the form of something beautiful, something prophetic, something that knows better than God, something that claims to speak on behalf of God, like these revolving door of chameleons that come onto the show, and they give the most outrageous stories that they test your faith. And is your faith up to par? Are you going to believe it? It's some sort of bizarre litmus test. But I can assure you that your ability to believe their stories is not a litmus test for your faith. God has already been so faithful to us, and he has already established his miracle on earth, and he could still do miracles, but let's be really discerning about which ones they are. And we definitely have to have a higher standard for that. So this one lady comes on, and she's got to be equally 85 too. She says that when her dad was when she was young, and her dad was a butcher by day and a street evangelist, a big tent revivalist by night. And one day at work, her dad chopped off part of his finger, and that night he was giving his speech, and he chopped off that finger that had been somewhat reattached. He was banging on the podium giving his hellfire and brimstone speech, their words, and it flew off and it hit a paraplegic in the front, and he immediately stood up and was cured. And by the time everybody looked back at this butcher slash preacher, that's like a horror movie, so he had regrown his finger, and she had seen it. So this Sid Roth guy, he's seen all sorts of crazy things, all sorts of crazy guests, and he himself is a little bit serpentine. But I could tell the wheels were turning, and they need a little lubrication. They almost didn't believe her. It was so incredulous. But anyway, seems like the crowd bought it. So, but you don't have to buy that. You can still believe in God. There's not a contradiction between God and science. It's just our fundamental misunderstanding of how those things work together. It's not a binary. They're not mutually exclusive. God is the author and perfecter, and he spoke the world into existence. Whether you think it's the Big Bang or whatever, it all works out to the same. So I would just advise extreme discernment when hearing about your friends' miracles, because you've all heard your friends, your parents, your grandparents, the people at church tell you about miracles, and it seems like everybody's nodding along, and but you, for some reason, you're feeling skeptical and you're feeling a little bit guilty about that, because is your faith not up to their standard? But no, don't buy that lie. You know, only God knows your heart, and you might have other reasons, or God might have other reasons that he's allowing you to question this, because God does allow us to question things. So that's cool. And all right, take care, everybody.